Only 5 years ago, freight forwarders had to camp on the doorsteps of all regulatory authorities, sanitary and epidemiological services, environmental, veterinary, phytosanitary, border guards and customs, just to obtain a permission to move cargo which arrived by sea in Ukraine. Cargo documentation, which should accompany cargo in an international supply chain, contains an average of 40 documents, 200 data elements, 30 of which are repeated at least 3,000 times. Every authority required almost the same documents. The big problem lies in the fact that regulatory authorities were considering sets of documents for a really long period of time. Accordingly, there were long lines under officials' cabinets, and downtime of vehicles with containers in ports ranged from days to several weeks. And at the same time, it was impossible to document the fact of freight forwarders addressing to the officials and the consideration time of the submitted documents. In addition, there was quite a large share of corruption, and personal interests of an official have become a threat for the entire industry. A freight forwarder had to pay for one container from several hundred to several $1,000s depending on the type of cargo, quality of documents, and arrogance of this official. Since 2011, Ukraine has begun to implement a mechanism of electronic single window. Initially, it was at the local level in the Odessa commercial seaport. Later, at the ports of Big Odessa, the Ilychovsk and Yuzhny ports have begun to use it. The project is governed by the UNECE International Guidelines number 33, 34 and 35. The system of single window is considered the world's best tool for simplifying and reducing the number of procedures. It provides the opportunity for transport process participants to provide the necessary information only once, in a standardized form, into a single transmission channel. This is to say, all commercial operators and inspection services, physically located in different places, combine their information flows into a single database. The result of the synchronized document processing becomes a set of data to be the same for all control services. Nowadays, documents for consideration that are to be submitted to the Ukrainian customs are submitted electronically, and the electronic digital signature uniquely identifies all the actions of an applicant and officials. The time of submissions, documents review, and decision-making are mentioned there. All actions in the customs information system of the port community are based on specific normative acts. The system makes it impossible to take this or that decision without reference to them. Each electronic document is legally equivalent to a paper document and can be submitted to the court or other state body to appeal in case of an unlawful decision. The number of physical contacts between an applicant and the customs is reduced, which negates corruption schemes to the actual zero. At the same time, the lines in the corridors and at the entrances to the ports have disappeared. The time spent by vehicles with containers at the port ranges from 1 to 2 hours in Odessa and up to 5-8 hours in Ilychovsk. Freight forwarders can see information about the actual arrival of the goods to the port. Marine agents have the ability to pre-inform the customs on goods that are scheduled for arrival. Information about the weighing of goods is automatically sent to the customs for the risk analysis, and the law enforcement bodies can remotely monitor the situation and make operational changes. In the ports of the so-called Big Odessa, a permission to unload the vessel is provided before its berthing, in the absence of comments and risk factors, mostly related to ships visiting ports dangerous in the epidemic regard. This allows a sea carrier, especially a container vessel, to save thousands of dollars in the unproductive downtime of a vessel at the berth waiting for the regulatory authorities' commission. The cost works on the principles of self-sufficiency. System services are paid by the cargo owner or his representative. Therefore, the unification of all of the participants of the cross-border transport process within a single information platform allows to share information and make decisions based on the information that was introduced into the system only once, and it will eventually give an opportunity to reduce transport costs and minimize corruption component, to ensure a safe supply chain, reduce cost of goods for consumers, and to ensure full payment of taxes to the budget.